because I don't really think it's fair that everyone here had to wake up to get like to come on here, and then everyone else just wants to sleep in and like, oh, like, sorry, my cat was like needed attention. Like that doesn't make sense to me. But I am recording this, so yeah, rising wedge, right? You just continuation pattern. It's actually a trend reversal too, so it could actually be coming in. Let's say it's coming in from like an uptrend like this. It could reverse the overall trend. No, I don't really see it happen like that. Like with the reversals, I see it more like how I'm showing you, like with the continuation. So that's like the only way that I do it. So when you see a rising wedge, we want to sell. Did anyone have any questions on it at all? Calculate this distance, support and resistance, right? Let's say that's 20 pips. Entry, which is right here. You would just go down however many pips it is. Pretty simple, huh? So if anyone doesn't have any questions, just type a 111 and then I'll show you my other one that I like. If we're good. Okay, cool. All right. Another continuation pattern that I like. Well, if we have a rising wedge, we have another one. It's called a falling wedge, right? Falling wedges, I like these two, right? Let's say you could even use the same example. I'll just use it coming on an uptrend, right? Falling wedge. Right, cool. So it'd be looking something like this. Something like this. So what you're going to notice is that the higher highs are forming a lot lower than the lower lows are, right? Something like this, and then you're going to see it shoot up. Once again, you would just kind of draw our lines out, make it look as nice as possible. It looks like eventually there comes a point where they're going to intersect, you know what I mean? That's kind of what we're looking for. And at that point, pretty simple. Once again, you're just looking for, like I said, these highs to form a lot lower than these lower lows are, right? They look like they're just kind of leveled. That's what we look for. That's all we want. Of course, our entry is right here, of course. This is where we actually enter the market. Once again, we calculate the amount of pips this is, and that would be your take profit, right? And the only reason why I tell you guys is to calculate those amount of pips is because we wait for the candle above to open. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I would do that because remember, the minute that it breaks past 2, we need to remember that there's always going to be some sort of pullback. Remember, that's on our confirmation checklist too. So if you guys remember from yesterday, pullbacks are one of our confirmations. So when you actually cross the neckline, it's up to you if you guys want to write it. But the only thing is, remember that sometimes it will pull back, so it can actually catch like a couple more pips. But for me, I really don't care. Like the minute that it crosses it, I'll just enter because I'm like, well, whatever. Like I'm not gonna like complain about 2 pips. But then again, like I said, you want to catch every pip you can if you're just calculating that distance. The only reason why I say calculate that distance is because you know for sure it'll hit the distance from your support and resistance. Now, if you like have been using your fibs or something, or if you're onto something bigger and you know it's going to shoot further, then of course you can do more pips. But on average, if you're just kind of like trading off of a pattern by itself, just calculate the amount of distance on support and resistance. So yeah, wedges for me are some of my favorite ones. I see these all the time. I know there's some people that don't like wedges for some reason. I don't know. I love them. I've always had good luck with them. So yeah, that's kind of it with a rising and falling wedge. So a falling wedge, you want to buy. They're inverses, right? Rising wedge, you want to sell. Falling wedge, you want to buy. And the way I think of it is like this line right here is falling, right? I'm just gonna put it up. On a rising wedge, right? Looks something like this. The support is like rising. I don't know. They're inverses, I guess. But yeah, if that makes sense, we're all good, right? No questions. I'm good to move on. These are kind of simple ones. Good. All right, cool. All right, thanks. Cool. So another one that I like going over, this one I actually help you guys out with their fibs. So I'll kind of be going over fibs again, but I'll be going over Elliott waves. Elliott waves are key, right? So let me draw you a good setup on what an Elliott wave would look like. It would look something like this. 0, 1, 2. I've trained on these when I was like brand new. I love Elliott waves. 3, 4. A, B, C. All right, so these are like pretty advanced, I guess. I mean, in terms of like all the patterns that I've showed you, these are probably like the most advanced. One thing I would say about Elliott waves is this is how you guys can like pretty much profit off of like a whole trend in a sense. You wanna like have these perfect points like labeled 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. I posted in the other chat instead because I couldn't post a pic for some reason. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll forward this. Thank you so much. This is perfect. All right, yeah. So Magnus, thank God for him. He just posted a bunch of the patterns that I just went over today and yesterday. So yeah, going back to Elliott wave. So what this is this is more of an advanced kind of pattern, right? But there's a way that you guys can profit off of this, like every single time, from the retracement up, or from the shoot up to the retracement down, like all the way, right? So one thing that I would say about Elliott waves, what I would wait for is the first actual wave to shoot up. So let's say we are looking at this, right? Let's say we're at wave 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Okay, let's say we're at wave 1. Wave 1 is going to be this first bar right here, right? One thing that I would say is if none of the rest happened, this is when fibs come into play. Like if you have not learned anything about fibs, this is the only thing that I would ask you guys to learn, right? So remember, with the fib, what are we going to look for? We're going to drag our fib from our highest high, right? Which is going to be up here, to our lowest low right here, right? And remember, we're going to get a series of numbers, right? So from the highest high, we start off, we get our 100%, right? Our lowest low, we start off with 0, right? Now we're going to get a bunch of other lines or a bunch of series of numbers within it too, right? What I look for with the fib is my zone anywhere in between here. And you can use all different types, like all the zones on there, but I mainly look for the zone in between my 61.8 and my 50, right? It's a pretty set one. If you guys follow along with what's his name, Gustavo, the guy that's in Swipe Trades, he usually uses those same zones too. They're one of my favorite ones. But yeah, if you look anywhere in between that zone, you should be pretty set and solid. What you want to look for is this retracement over here, right? So as it's going on its uptrend, remember, no trend will always continue just to shoot up out of nowhere. No, the market loves to move in waves, and that's what we need to figure out, right? That's why we use fibs. So as it retraces right here in between our zone, you guys, there's many different ways you could approach this. Maybe like one thing that I've seen traders do, which actually isn't that bad of idea. Remember, you're gonna get another zone right here too. This one's gonna be 78.6. I've had people even place sell or buy stops before. So as this is retracing back, right? As it goes further behind, like this zone in between your 1561, if they wanted to go ahead and like pretty much place a trade that will confirm it, they'll place a buy stop right here, right? Because the minute that the graph starts to reverse and trend upward again, you already know where it's gonna go. You already know how far. So the minute it crosses through here, you're in your trade. And your take profit would be all the way, you have a couple zones you could use for that. I use a couple. You could use this zone right here at 127%, right? Or this zone all the way up here at 161. So that's kind of what we look for on an Elliott wave, right? It's just a 5-point shift in movement. You have your 0, 1, retraces 2, all the way up to 3, retraces to 4, goes back up to 5, right? From 5 all the way down to A, this is what we call a momentum. I'll explain that later on. Got your 5 forming down A, got a little retracing up to B, and back down to C, right? It's kind of what we look for in an Elliott wave. But a profit off of this, like I said, I'm going to show you the simplest way. What you do for the first part, right? If we would have seen just where that rectangle is, you run a fib, right? 0 to 1. All right, cool. We got our setup, right? We got our 0 to 1 right here. We are right in this wave. We pull up a fib. All right, we know exactly when it retraced. It retraced right on our zone right here, 50 to 61%. All right, looks like a crystal clear fib to me. Now what happens? It starts to break through the 61.8. This level, this 50 right here, serves as a level of support. Shoots up, breaks past this. My PC turned off. Where do you begin the fib? So with the fib, what you guys are gonna do is always drag it from your highest high, all the way down to your lowest low, or vice versa. Like on a downtrend, I usually go from the lowest low to the highest high. It's up to you. Everyone reads or runs their fibs differently, but I always like to have my 100% in the direction that I'm like the trend is going. So if it's an uptrend, I always start off using, because when you pull a fib, it's always gonna have your 100% first. So if it's an uptrend, I'll have my 100% on the highest high. If it's on a downtrend, I'll have my fib at the lowest low, and then I'll just bring it up to the opposite, if that makes sense. I'll show you guys when I look at chart right now. But okay, cool. So 0 to 100, pull back in between our 50 and 61.8. Good. That's a good indication for a price reversal. Boom, shoots up, breaks past. All right, but where do we set our take profit to? Well, remember, our fib's gonna have that too. Our 127 would be one take profit. What happens? Broke past that. Our 161 broke past that, right? Now, one thing that you guys can do that I always use, like, if anything, I don't really like have to even measure fibs. You could use another fib. You could pull your 0 all the way down here, 100 right here, right? But I don't like to do that. One thing I do is I use something called price relations, right? A price relation is literally just getting the amount of distance it was here. Literally, I would just draw a line. Like if I was looking at the graph, I would just draw a line like this, copy it, and I would do the same thing, right? Oh, hey, they're the same distance. You're just using previous market structure, right? That's all I use. When I do an uptrend too, that's pretty much the same thing I would do. If I knew that it hit my 127%, all right, cool. I would run a quick little fib just to make sure, but I would have my take profit up on number 5 on my 127% if it hit that. Or if it hit my 161, then I would know, hey, well, then I'm going to use my 161 again, right? So price relations is something huge with Elliott waves. You just literally use that for the pullbacks. So if you want to make profit on the pullbacks, just look at the first one, however much you retraced before, draw like a little line and then copy it and paste it. And that's how you know how further back it's going to do. That's the way that I've been using it. One thing that you could do when you're at this point up here, the way that I would profit off of this right here, it's pretty simple. I literally would just, let's say we're at 0.5 and we want to know how far it's going to shoot down, right? I would have a couple take profits. Remember twin trading? This is where it would come into play. I would do half of this distance right here, take profit 1. I would have the same distance where this low is at, take profit 2. And then I would run a quick little fib from the very high to this low right here. And I would use my 127%. And wherever that's at, that would be my take profit 3. And that's how I would profit off of that wave 5 to A, right? Because we want to know how far down it's going to go. So what I would use is I would just, once again, usually with Elliott waves from your wave A5 to A, more than likely it should be a shift in momentum, but not always, right? So that's why I'll have a couple take profits. Half of the distance for sure it'll hit. The whole distance it should hit, right? And the distance down here, if it's a good Elliott wave, you know it's a shift in momentum. So you'll know it'll break past and hit this level of 127. Did this kind of make sense? Does anyone, so you definitely twin trade? Honestly, I try to twin trade as much as possible, only because For me, I don't like to put all of my eggs in one basket. I don't want to be like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start trading with the highest lot size and just just leave it and just pray for the best. No, I like to play it safe, so I'll always twin trade only because it's just safer for me. I'd rather take profit and get some gains, and then have the other one ride out a little bit longer than have all of them, like have just one trade and it doesn't hit at all. You know what I mean? So I'd rather take some profit rather than none. Does anyone have any questions on this though? Like the Elliott wave and Fibs? These usually correlate together. We're good? Okay. I guess for right now, I'll start showing you guys like how to run some Fibs. Sound good? We'll just go ahead and look at some charts. All right. Cool. I'll just use this one. All right, cool. Let's look at, for example, like XRP. Watch, I'll show you guys what I meant, like what I was doing yesterday. So this was a cool little thing that I started doing yesterday. Actually, that actually helped me. Here, let's go with a different currency though. Somebody type a random currency that we should look at. What would you guys want me to look at? Whatever currency pair. You guys pick any currency pair. USD let's do it. I haven't even marked up that one, so that's a good one. One of my favorite ones. Okay. So first and foremost, right, I'm gonna show you guys how I usually trade. Okay. So first and foremost, what I do is I always get my support and resistance off of the weekly. Always, always, always. It's so essential. So let's do it. I just look for major zones. I'm going to have it, my weeklies, I always have these in white, so I always color coordinate them. So I just look for major zones where there's a lot of like, I guess, price action. Like right about, right here seems to be a strong level of support. This looks pretty good. I like this zone right here. And I'll only do like a good handful. I mean, I don't need to do too many, but all right. So these are kind of my weekly support and resistance. So whenever the price hits these areas, I know something big's about to happen. And we'll do down here just so you're not lonely. All right. After this, I'll look at this in terms of the daily. This is what I was saying yesterday, what I did. I just went back in time. Okay, we're all the way back in 2001. Okay, there should be plenty of enough time. This is where I measure my distance, right? So let's say we're looking at a fib. Look, I'm gonna use this example, lowest low. No, get out of my way. Highest high. Boom, what happened right here? Taps right off of my 61.8. I'm gonna put this as light blue. It perfectly respects the 61.8 as a level of resistance. What happens? It shoots all the way down, actually, right here. Our 127 would be our take profit. Boom, hits it. Now do you see how I just found a good support and resistance line just from this by itself? Cool, leave that there, keep going. It actually hit all the way down here too. At our this is actually further, 261. So 161 all the way down here. Cool. Let's run another fib. Lowest low, highest high. Let's see. Perfectly respects this zone right here. This white line, do you guys remember my weekly support and resistance? Look, it's a perfect zone right here. Perfect match. Respects it perfectly. Kind of already have everything marked up with my weeklies. Lowest low. Highest high. It actually broke past or 23. I wouldn't have taken this fib. Or I mean, I wouldn't have taken this one. I would have taken it though because of the support right here, or resistance that it broke past and it went back. And plus, looks kind of like a pattern, double top in a sense. 127. We would have taken this right here. Looks like this is a pretty good key level. I don't really need that level though. This is a good example of an uptrend. Highest high, lowest low. Retracement right in between. This one's 78 and 61. I still like this zone too. Shoots all the way up to our 127 up here. For the most part, just off of support and resistance off of my weekly, the USD CHF has been respecting it perfectly, right? Kind of looks like right now it's forming some sort of pattern. Okay, so one thing that I would do is chop this up even more. So now my daily support and resistance I'm going to use as red. I'm just going to look for some key levels to put support and resistance, like right here. Like right here. I don't need too many. All right, so support and resistance right now looks like it just tapped this level of resistance right here, resisted it here, and resisted it here. Boom, boom, boom. The weekly, every single time it hits the weekly, what does it do? It really rejects it. It keeps it down. So I'm thinking for sure, if anything, it's probably going to go back and test either this level of support right here or all the way down here. We'll have to see though. 4 hour. Use for 4 hour green. Okay. This is where I'll break it down even further. Let's see. Looks like so far it's been just trending upward. Couple more key zones I'll look at, maybe right here. That looks like a pretty big area. And then I'll use more than likely this area right here. I'm gonna jump my laptop guys. Does anyone have any questions so far on what I'm marking up to? Is this kind of like making sense? Sorry, I can't see the chat because I'm sharing my screen, but let's see. I'll look right now. One thing I would look for, I would run a fib, right? We could use this whole wave. Retracement right in between this zone, just like it has before. Since USD CHF, I'd been calling that it's gonna go bullish for some time. What I would make sure that it does is, first and foremost, I'm not gonna enter in this right now only because it's kind of like in this consolidation-ish kind of phase. I'm not trying to get faked out. But if I were to, if we look at the stochastic, what is it telling us? Price is about to shift downward, right? So it just depends on how much further down it's gonna go. Now, if I were to set a TP, I would actually have it be on this weekly right here, because that's where our 127% is. So this would be like our take profit. So all the way like